Wasn't there some speculation that she was on Epstein's yacht at one point in time? There was like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in the day when she was like in her early 20s.
While the difficult Duchess carries on calling the shots, which, in that weird, one-sided marriage of theirs.
One post of hers had about 500 retweets, which I'm sure your Instagram would have even more of.
There are scandals you can spin, rumors you can bury, and headlines you can outlast. But what Meghan Markle is facing now is much worse. She's become a late-night comedy punchline, and that mocking label has stamped her reputation for good. For years, whispers have followed Meghan, claims she was more than just a struggling actress before Prince Harry. Let's be real, Suits didn't exactly make her a Hollywood star. So how is she floating through luxury circles with billionaires, producers, and VIPs while other actresses were begging for callbacks? That's where the Yacht Girl rumors began.
That's what a lot of people are coming out and sort of leaking, is that she might be scrubbing the numbers a little bit, and her and Harry might be coming back cup in hand to the king.
And if there's one name Meghan surely dreads, it's Kirby Summers. This author didn't just stir gossip, she dropped a bomb. Summers boldly claimed Meghan's Hollywood climb wasn't nearly as polished as her PR wants the world to believe. According to Kirby Summers, Meghan wasn't just networking her way up, she was allegedly yachting her way into opportunities. Summers said the quiet part out loud, and the internet hasn't stopped buzzing since. What made it sting even harder was Summers' delivery. No sugarcoating, no allegedly, no hedging. She basically waved a neon sign saying, Meghan was a yacht girl. That kind of bluntness is exactly why Meghan's team reportedly scrambled into panic mode. Rumors come and go, but once someone with a platform connects the dots, whispers turn into debates. And those debates don't just fade away. The wildest part, Summers didn't drop it with Hollywood drama. She delivered it like a professor giving a lecture, calm, factual, and brutally straightforward. That dry tone made it spread even faster because it sounded less like gossip and more like a casual fact. And once Summers added her credibility, Meghan's carefully controlled narrative started slipping away. Suddenly, it's frantic calls, emergency spin meetings, and Harry being told once again, don't say a word. Meghan Markle has switched public identities more times than an actor swaps costumes. First, the hustling actress climbing Hollywood's ladder. Then, Harry's daring wife, the outsider shaking up the monarchy. After that came the victim role.
She's disliked intensely by a large number of monarchists in this country.
The woman wronged by a cold palace and a vicious press. And, of course, the global feminist icon, delivering glossy empowerment speeches. But when those yacht girl allegations leaked, the contrast was brutal. Suddenly, the empowerment talks, the polished feminist branding, even the self-made narrative looked less authentic and more like a performance. People started asking if every version of Meghan was just another role, each carefully crafted for maximum effect. That's why Jon Stewart's jokes hit so hard. He wasn't just clowning around, he was exposing the cracks in her image. Comedy feeds on contradictions, and Meghan's multiple faces gave plenty of material. The crowd didn't need documents or proof. The punchlines said it all. All it took was pointing out the contradictions, and suddenly the laughter wasn't just comedy, it was recognition. Meghan's real problem is that every new identity makes the last one look like a costume. Actress, royal rebel, palace victim, feminist icon. The more she switches, the less people know which, if any, is real. And once the public senses performance, they rarely forgive. Her brand becomes fragile, easy to shatter.
Didn't know that it was going to be Camilla's birthday, but somehow went to Africa and stole the limelight with his photo opportunity, basically recreating a Diana-esque photo shoot. It's like, come on, Harry, we can read through your little weird tattletale.
Those so-called yacht girl photos weren't even about what they showed. It was about what they implied. Grainy? Sure? Questionable? Definitely. But none of that mattered. The second Meghan's name started trending with Yacht Girl, the damage was done. Online perception is quicksand. The harder you fight, the deeper you sink. Social media lit up instantly. Some swore the photos were real, claiming they had receipts. Others dismissed them as fake. But here's the brutal truth. On the internet, proof doesn't matter. Optics do. Once the debate starts, the seed of doubt is planted, and that seed doesn't disappear. And for Meghan, who's built her image on resilience, feminism, and independence, that doubt cuts deep. The yacht girl chatter blew a hole straight through Meghan's image, flipping her polished speeches into something critics called staged and convenient. What once looked inspiring now looked contrived. And then came Jon Stewart. If Meghan's camp thought the rumors would fade, Stewart made sure that didn't happen. By dragging the whispers into his comedy routine, he turned niche online gossip into mainstream conversation, complete with laughs and applause. In that instant, perception shifted. It wasn't just internet chatter anymore. It became pop culture fact. For Meghan, that was the real PR disaster. Because when Jon Stewart shines his spotlight, it's never random. His punchlines turn whispers into headlines, and his commentary carries weight far beyond late-night TV. So when he stepped into the Meghan Yacht Girl storm, the scandal officially jumped from online forums into the cultural mainstream, where it sticks. Jon Stewart didn't need cheap shock value. It was his precision that stung. With a sly grin and razor-sharp timing, he slipped the Yacht Girl whispers into his monologue, hooking the crowd instantly. His one-liners weren't just jokes, they framed Meghan as more than a misunderstood royal. Stewart painted her as living a double life. Polished duchess by day, opportunistic socialite by night. That line didn't just get laughs, it carved a whole new narrative. The problem for Meghan wasn't whether Stewart believed the rumors, it was that he legitimized them. A punchline on his stage isn't harmless. It's an accelerant. And that's what made the moment so brutal. Stewart's jokes didn't just poke fun at questionable photos, they turned Meghan into undeniable ridicule, stamped into pop culture with every laugh.
Think that it's just going to be like, oh, you know, you did write that book chronicling your entire childhood, but no problem, airing all our dirty laundry out.
It's one thing when tabloids whisper rumors. It's another when a cultural heavyweight blasts them with humor sharp enough to cut. Once people start laughing at you, there's no room left for denial or nuance. The battle for reputation is already uphill. For Meghan, it stopped being about whether the Yacht Girl photos were real. Stewart's punchlines reframed the scandal into an ongoing joke, and ridicule sticks far longer than accusations. By the time her team scrambled for damage control, the memes had already gone viral. The second Stewart's joke aired, TikTok went into overdrive. Editors clipped it, captioned it, and spliced it with Meghan's old footage. Suddenly, the roast became truth in the court of public opinion. Even sympathetic outlets tried spinning it as unfair or sexist, but nobody was reading rebuttals. The internet was too busy laughing, sharing memes at lightning speed. For Meghan, this wasn't just another headline, it was a reputational earthquake. A scandal you can deny is one thing. A scandal the internet laughs at is career kryptonite. Once your brand becomes the punchline, no press release can save you. The phrase Yacht Girl isn't harmless gossip, it's a cultural grenade. On the surface, it sounds glamorous: champagne sunsets, billionaire yachts, film festival views. But insiders know the darker meaning. An unspoken code tied to women invited to entertain wealthy men at exclusive parties. It blurs the line between networking, social climbing, and transactional relationships. That's why the label stings so badly. It doesn't just say you were seen on a boat. It suggests your success wasn't earned by talent or hard work, but by proximity to power. For an actress trying to brand herself as self-made, that's the kiss of death. Suddenly, every career milestone looks suspicious.
So brilliantly about Harry before he died. Prince Philip was furious about the way he was treating the royal family. He was particularly furious.
Did she land roles on merit, or because of who she was sailing with? Were doors opening from skill, or from yacht guest lists? And for Meghan, the damage cuts even deeper. Meghan's entire post-royal brand hangs on empowerment, independence, and breaking barriers. She's styled herself as the woman who refuses to be boxed in, but the Yacht Girl tag flips that narrative completely, reducing her to the stereotype of a pretty face trading charm for access. The contradiction is brutal. Instead of a trailblazer rewriting the rules, she risks being painted as someone who gamed the system in the oldest way possible. And once that label sticks, nobody pauses to ask what's real. They just laugh, share memes, and connect dots that might not even exist. The danger isn't in the accusation, it's in the doubt it creates. Doubt lingers, reshaping reputations in ways PR can't erase. Being branded a yacht girl isn't just a bad headline. It's a shadow that follows every red carpet, every speech, every empowerment moment. Because here's the unspoken truth. The so-called yacht circuit is less about film and more about access. Models, influencers, and aspiring actresses are ferried on board under the guise of networking. But everyone knows those invites often blur the line between social climbing and something far more transactional. Back in 2013, The Hollywood Reporter called the yacht scene a poorly kept secret, confirming what insiders already knew but rarely said out loud. Yachts aren't just for parties, they're for arrangements. For women chasing a break in entertainment, those nights at sea were both opportunity and trap. Some made real connections. Others were pulled into the darker side, where beauty became currency and rumors spread faster than PR could ever clean up. That's why the Yacht Girl label is so toxic. It doesn't say you climbed, it says you were ferried. Now, layer Meghan into this. Her brand of empowerment and independence is the total opposite of what yacht culture represents. So when Jon Stewart casually linked her name to that world, it wasn't just a laugh line. It tied her image to one of Hollywood's dirtiest open secrets. Stewart did what most tabloids wouldn't dare, blasting whispers into the mainstream. Meghan's polished PR machine, famous for pumping out glowing interviews and human interest distractions, suddenly had no playbook. Stewart's roast wasn't just another bad headline, it was viral comedy. And once you've become the internet's punchline, glossy magazine spreads can't save you. They only make the laughter louder. Meetings were called, emails flew, and Meghan's PR army, once proud of outmaneuvering British tabloids, suddenly hit a wall. You can't outshine a joke when everyone's already laughing. The risk was brutal. Push too hard, and it trends harder. Ignore it, and it still sticks. A lose-lose game. Reportedly, Meghan's camp accused Stewart of staging a character assassination. But outrage doesn't cancel humor. Once the audience laughs, the sting is permanent. Even her loyal defenders were left scrambling, unsure how to spin it. Instead of strong rebuttals, sympathetic outlets fell back on the usual cries of sexism and unfair targeting. But none of that touched the yacht rumors directly, leaving the whispers untouched and louder than ever. For Meghan, who built her post-royal brand on controlling the narrative through glossy documentaries, polished podcasts, and curated interviews, this was catastrophic.
This is the way back in. They are so wrong.
It's very silly. They must have a low IQ and they think everyone else is as stupid as them.
One well-timed joke shredded months, even years of image building. And the fallout revealed Meghan's biggest fear. Once you lose control of your own story, the public writes it for you. And this time, the story wasn't about charity or activism. It was about whispers from Hollywood's darkest circles. No matter how hard Meghan's team spun, the laughter kept echoing louder than the PR. And the silence from Prince Harry? Deafening. This is the same man who once blasted the press with official palace statements, called out racism, and even took newspapers to court for attacking Meghan. Now, as the yacht girl chatter rages, he says nothing. Insiders claim Harry is squirming behind the scenes. The scandal bruises Meghan, but it bruises him too. He knows that jumping to her defense would only magnify the rumors he wants buried. So instead of protecting her, he retreats, leaving Meghan to face the mockery alone. For Meghan, his silence feels like betrayal. Reports say she rages that he's letting comedians rip her apart without lifting a finger. But Harry is trapped. If he speaks, he amplifies Stewart's viral punchline. If he stays quiet, he looks weak. Damned either way. So Meghan stews in humiliation, while Harry hides behind stiff photo ops and awkward smiles. The irony is cruel. The man who vowed to protect her has suddenly become the quietest voice in the room. Gossip columns can be denied or ignored, but a joke lives forever. You can't erase it, and you can't make people forget that laugh. That's exactly where Meghan is trapped. If she stays silent, it looks like quiet confirmation. If she fires back, she validates the punchline and guarantees it spreads further. PR thrives on controlling narratives, but comedy exists to tear them down. And Meghan has no way to win. Opinion pieces, friendly interviews, even glossy appearances can't compete with the viral power of one late-night joke. It lingers, stripped of context, replayed endlessly, and twisted by critics. Each move she makes either fuels the cycle or deepens the sense she's lost control. What started as a passing Stewart jab exploded into a digital avalanche. Within hours, TikTok creators spliced old yacht footage against Meghan's polished interviews. Split-screen edits captioned, "From yachts to palaces," racked up millions of views in seconds. Twitter was even more ruthless. Trolls weaponized the joke into hashtags like "Sarn Yacht Girl Duchess," firing off biting one-liners as the roast spread like wildfire. For Meghan's critics, it was open season. For her supporters, defending her was impossible without amplifying the very content they wanted buried. Silence looked like guilt. Pushback looked like denial. Either way, the internet had already decided what was funny. The memes were merciless. Meghan as Rose in Titanic, pointing at yachts instead of stars. Meghan pasted into Wolf of Wall Street, champagne raised high. Even mock Disney trailers titled "The Princess and the Yacht." The creativity was endless and brutal. Hashtags made it worse. Exposed trended globally, tying Meghan's supposed past to bigger conversations about celebrity culture, hypocrisy, and image-making. Every scroll was a reminder of a storm she couldn't escape. The quieter she stayed, the louder the internet mocked. By then, Meghan wasn't just facing a rumor. She was up against the internet's collective imagination. A machine that moves too fast, laughs too loud, and never pauses for rebuttals. And the harsh truth? Once you've become a meme, you've lost control of your narrative. Even royalty can't fight that. For Hollywood insiders, Stewart's roast wasn't just comedy, it was catharsis. Executives, producers, and rival publicists who had long doubted Meghan's credibility saw the punchline as the moment those whispers finally went public. Hollywood insiders could now laugh openly without looking cruel. Stewart had done the job for them, crystallizing years of whispers into a cultural moment. What was once muttered at parties or hinted in private was now broadcast for millions. And in an industry where perception dictates opportunity, that shift was seismic. For rival actresses, it wasn't just entertainment, it was vindication. Many had rolled their eyes at Meghan's self-branding, her victimhood narratives, her high-profile interviews, her desperate push for a permanent seat at Hollywood's table. Now Stewart's punchline gave their skepticism legitimacy. Even PR teams admitted the danger. Headlines can be countered, articles can be buried. But a cultural joke? That lingers. It follows you into meetings, hovers over every pitch, and plants doubt in the minds of collaborators. In that sense, Stewart's roast wasn't just a late-night gag. It was a full-blown rebrand of Meghan Markle, one that stripped away the gravitas she'd been trying so hard to build in an industry where credibility is the most valuable currency. Being turned into a punchline is far more lethal than being criticized in print. And Stewart's roast gave Hollywood permission to laugh at Meghan without consequence. And once Hollywood laughs, it rarely takes you seriously again. What makes this blow devastating is that the Yacht Girl rumor finally crossed the line. For years, it lurked in gossip blogs and anonymous whispers, dismissed as speculation. But Stewart dragged it onto a mainstream stage, transforming it into a cultural tagline. Once a label like that enters public conversation, it develops its own life. It follows its target everywhere, on social media, in headlines, and behind every new project. For Meghan, that means every red carpet, every speech, every comeback attempt will be shadowed by mockery. Online commentary has been ruthless, ripping apart the contradictions between her polished image and the story Stewart revived. Memes, ridicule, and skepticism now cling to her name. This isn't just rumor anymore, it's reputation. For Meghan Markle, this is the nightmare she always feared. Whispers from her past colliding with mainstream comedy and freezing into cultural memory. Her brand of empowerment and resilience was fractured in minutes by Stewart's sharp humor, leaving her image drowning in doubt. And the danger is momentum. Once late-night comedy turns you into a punchline, others follow, and the joke never dies. For someone whose credibility depends on controlling perception, ridicule is crippling. Comedy has permanence. When a label becomes shorthand for your name, the audience rarely forgets. From Duchess to Yacht Girl, Meghan now carries a shadow of mockery that may never fade. So what do you think? Can Meghan ever recover from this, or is her brand permanently scarred? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.